you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed in attaining all in that which is your need? To be heard by the real answerer of all deeds, the true hearer of all whom pleads. Who of you really want to bow down to the true King of Kings commanding the crown? To worship the one that ever rules alone, commanding everything of creation from the seat of its throne.
To our 1 hour audience, Lord Holy-Apostle will continue with discussion. Holy Queen Mother will continue with discussion about what's happening in the world today. We were talking about the politicians and how the people trust the politicians, just as the people in Haiti trusted their voodoo leaders, their spiritual, their religious leaders of the past, and now they turned on them. You know, we're looking at what's prophesied to happen today and what's coming about today when the people are being set up by the politicians, by the leaders, the religious leaders, all the influential people that's in this country today, in this world today, throughout the world, and how ultimately they're setting themselves up to be turned on. You know, they're being set up by the Lord El in itself. You know.
Now, what I want to go back to is what I was saying earlier, about how the Arabs set up the Muslims in America. See, the black men, African Americans, they want to be accepted by somebody. Like Oprah said. Oprah said to Barbara Walters. Okay. Barbara asked her, did she want to be black? From what I hear, I didn't witness
Caucasian.
it. Did she want to be Caucasian? I didn't witness it, but I heard about it. And she said yes. And the thought came to me last night. I said, don't she know? I said, I wonder why Barbara didn't tell her. If you was Caucasian, you would not be as powerful as you are. You would not have the money you have. Imagine big, fat Oprah being accepted by American people where they gonna take her as a Caucasian who don't have no control of herself and her eating, have questionable sexual appetites and different things happening, and make her a leader of their people. They would never do that. I had made a joke about who she would be like, but I'm not gonna say that. But the thing about it is that Oprah was just used to help take our people down. Part of the diabolical scheme to keep the African American people down. She destroyed the African American man in the minds of people. Destroyed them and got them. And the problem is because the gin is backing her, giving her all this money, because they know she ain't no threat. They could give her $300 billion and she do nothing for her people with it. Nothing, right? Because she don't even want to be herself. She don't even want to be her own people. So what's she going to do for them? She stepped all across America to get to Africa to get them money for higher education, for better education. Now, if she's doing it here in America, United States of America, for her people of genealogy, she ain't telling nobody. She don't want it to be known if she's doing it. Just the fact of it being known and you propagating it is the help itself. The president said something very smart last night, whether he want to believe it or not. He said, you have to accept that the Muslims in the United States of America is a part of the American family. He was talking about wisdom and sensical things and nonsensical things. Now, the Arabs used the African American Muslims to be a thorn. I've been saying that since the 70s. I've been saying it since I've been angry. How our people gonna let them use us as a thorn in the side of the United States of America? It don't matter what the people of the United States of America has done to us, the leaders. This is our home. This is our home ground. Don't tell me to go back to Africa. There's no going back to Africa for me. I've never been to Africa. My father's never been to Africa. My mother's never been to Africa. So don't tell me to go back to Africa. I know more about my roots in the United States of America and the Native Americans than I do in the Africans. You know? But the thing about it is, them Arabs hold us in low estimation. The Caucasian Arabs, the Aryan Arabs hold us in low estimation and laugh behind our backs and do all kinds of things. Got us looking like fools out there dressing in costumes while they come here and dressing in American outfits. Got us wanting to go over there and live in their lands, and they want to come over here and get rich and live in our land. Got us wanting to trade places. Got people marrying their women to get green cards to get their family over here, to get citizenship. You know, do you think that Allah is appreciative of a person marrying somebody just so that they could come to a nation, another nation?
And it goes back to what Allah say, you know, when people don't take hold to what Allah said, do you give up that which is better for that which is worse?
Yeah.
You know, why would you give up what Allah has given you and think that you be closer to Allah if you move to another country and you serve under these people because they were the people of Prophet Muhammad?
You know, I just got to get back to what I was saying. Our people don't realize, a lot of our black African-American Muslims don't realize how we're being used, how people have mistranslated the Holy Quran, how people have created branches of religion, factions of religion, you know, for their own nationalistic purposes, and give them to our people who's uneducated and say, this is the religion of Islam. You know, many of us don't speak Arabic and don't speak it fluently. We might speak a little bit, but we don't understand it. Just like many of us don't even understand English. Some of us could say things in English that the other person really don't understand. He might sit up there like he understands it, but he might not understand a word you saying, except the simple words. Yeah. You know, but they have used us. And they have hurt us. And when things happen, we already have enemies here in America. Big cash town racist, beastly people who hate us just for our flesh. You understand? Forget about our minds and our spirits and our hearts and our souls. But for our flesh, they hate us. And they're already coming after us now. When it's a shame that the president had to step up against any politician to tell them we need to accept the Muslims as part of the American family. It should have been the responsibility of every politician to tell the people of their localities that we have African American Muslims and Muslims of all other races that are born and raised in this United States of America. These United States of America. And that they are our people. They have chosen, I mean, like if I choose Zen, is they coming against me? If I choose Buddhism, is they coming against me? Somebody has chosen an enemy, and then these enemies have chosen us to use us as a weapon against our own, against ourselves and the Caucasians who run this country. You know what I'm saying? But that don't change the fact, the responsibility of the politicians who needed to tell their people, you know, don't turn on these people like that. Don't slaughter these people, because they ready to kill up every Muslim they see because of what happened in the World Trade Center. And we haven't yet discovered who really was behind the bombing of the World Trade Center. If Bin Laden did it, why they didn't catch him? Why they won't get him? Why did they get his family out of the nation? Why there's all this secret stuff going on with Bush behind the scenes and this thing? You understand, these other people who goes unmentioned that have been in cahoots with these people.
And see, our people is so...
Why is it that the Jews took off that day from work, 4,000, and it wasn't no holiday? Who got the word beforehand that this was going to happen? Enough that they told all their people to get out of there. Don't go.
And our people...
Why all the people wasn't warned?
Our people is really wrong. African-American Muslims is wrong.
Yeah, they
to
wrong.
go and
to other nations and take up sides with them. They're wrong.
And to do the things that they're doing, because the law said clearly, fight those who fight against
you.
My whole thing is, you so busy fighting these people. First of all, you don't know what their head leaders is doing to get into this fight thing with the United States and these other countries.
Right.
Because they ain't communicating that stuff to you.
Right.
Your head leaders is just as dirty as these head leaders is just as dirty. So why would you get into that? There's so many fights that could be taken up in there, just in your city and what have you.
Why won't they fight for their families?
Right.
Why don't they fight for their wives and their children, their husbands? Why they won't fight for their parents? Why they won't fight for justice in this United States of America? Why they won't fight to come together? See, the first sin of our people is that we won't fight to come together as a people to save our own nation within the nation.
Right. Absolutely.
You know, it ain't about us outdoing Caucasians or Hispanics or anything like that. It's about us recognizing ourselves. The first law of nature is self-preservation. The first law of the African American's nature must be self-destruction. From what we see. And, you know, we could keep on saying the white man did it to us, Caucasian did it to us. Yeah, they did it to us. They nurtured us. But you got people here who've been here, been saying to us, they did it, but you have to change it.
Right.
And then you get our politicians, you get our bourgeois, our middle class and upper middle class and high class. They get up there and what's the first thing they want to do? Forget about us. Disassociate us. I got sisters and brothers who refuse to say they grew up in the projects in Newark. Don't want me around their bourgeois people because, you know, they're elite people making all this money, upper class, because I will say it. Because I believe my greatest achievement in life, aside from me becoming Ahezaah's messenger, is my triumph over the condition that the Caucasians put me and my father's people in. My triumph over that. So why should I try to act like I wasn't there?
You would think that when you disconnect, as such as African Americans, to disconnect from the reality of what they are about, that weakens you. Well,
You
have a basis, a real basis by which to go on. You know, so you take on the cloak of different groups of people.
Let me tell you something. You know, I'm in quite a situation here. My mother they told me my mother was gonna pass on any time the other day, and so that thought has really been in my mind. You know, I went to see her and everything. She's bad off. And but find out that she was getting so many medications that it interfered with her heart, you know? And she sacrificed her life to make sure, to ensure that her children would have a better life outside of the projects that she was forced in. Outside of the ghetto. Now, I have sisters, and all of them makes over $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 a year. They can't even come together as sisters and form some kind of institution, some kind of a company to strengthen our family. Somewhat like what the Hispanics, the Italians, the Greeks, everybody else would do. And they can't even respect or understand or see her sacrifice, her housing them, protecting them, and raising them to come into this success. They put her away in her old age, say she's falsely accused of being insane, falsely accused of having dementia, and put her away because they don't want to fulfill their responsibilities as daughters to take care of their mother. Now, I supported my mother in many ways and my father, many ways, did many things. I was always there for them. Even when when they didn't see me, I was a phone call away. And I always made sure that they was protected in the ghetto and made able to walk in peace. Did various things for my sisters and brothers, helped them through college and things like that, even though I had no college. You know? And they would turn to me and try to put the responsibility on my wife, who was not my mother's daughter, to take care of my mother. Now, I say that to say, I look at the reflection of our people in these United States of America. United States of America is our parent. How you going to take up a religion to fight against your parent in your own nation? If your parent got a fault, address your parent. If your sister and brother got a fault, address your sister and brother. But don't take up the act of an enemy and castigate the parent, abuse the parent, and forget that you can't even pay the parent for giving you birth into this world. You have many Caucasians that will annihilate us at birth, but you got many Caucasians that protect us at birth. We can't say the Caucasian is the devil when we know that the African Americans and the Arabs and everybody else is the devil too. You got good Caucasians and you got terrible Caucasians. You got good African Americans, you got terrible African Americans. You got that in every race of people. We need, as a people, as Muslims, as Christians, we need to come together and bring about the truth, not our idealism, not our points of power, positions that will put us in power over other people, but the truth. Now, I look at the Pope, the one who passed, calling all the people together, all the religious people together, even Elijah Muhammad's son, one of his sons went and kissed his hand and surrendered. And said that he was having a summit for all religions to come together as one. When they left a few days later, he said, I told you that Catholicism is the greatest religion. You see how he set them up? So what did he put into effect? Showed treachery to the people at the highest level. But the people want to call him the Father. The nearest, the Holy Father, nearest to God, nearest to the Lord El. Huh? Billions of them. This world is broken that we live in. This is a broken world we live in. And like the president said, they need to look at the Muslims as family and draw them back together and be fair and say, hey, look, we care for you. They could change the African-American Muslims just like that. Just like they could educate the people by truth. I always said, African-Americans love Caucasian Americans. I don't care how angry they are with them. Many of them are so angry because they upset that they're not accepted. All you gotta do is accept them. All you gotta do is open their arms in sincerity. They were so afraid. So many millions were afraid of having a black man stand on that at the head spot of the United States of America. They're afraid to give us our freedom and liberation. They're afraid, thinking we're gonna try to pay them back for something we are not even associated with in our minds. So many of us have disassociated ourselves from slavery. We try to act like we wasn't even a part of it.
And it's so
we're not affected by it. That we're not.
Oh, we're deeply affected by it. We're deeply suffering by it. But we so disconnected in our beliefs, our mind, our delusion. Like they would call me deluded for saying that the Lord El speaks to me and giving me these messages. But at the same time, they wouldn't think they're deluded for disassociating themselves with what has happened to their forefathers and thinking it ain't affecting them. Like you got our leaders running out there, and what's the African American leaders harping on? So you can't blame the white man no more. You can't blame. Yes, you can. As long as this effect is there, you gotta blame the effector. You can't forget that they did this. If you forget it, you'll be subject to it again. Look at the Jews. Learn a lesson from the Jews, the Aryan Jews. They will not let go of the Holocaust. In Newark, New Jersey, they done tore down a whole community trying to obliterate every sign of the 1967 riots so that you will forget. They tell you, they don't educate you about what went down in slavery for real. They, like my wife said, Nat Turner is the original gangster.
That's right.
You know? But they won't educate you as to this man was a religious man. This man was pleading for freedom. He was pleading for justice. This man went through all these things. And he got a word that he believed from the Lord that said he has to defend himself and take these people out. And he went on his mission. And they hate him so much. They don't want to look at him as a freedom fighter.
But I guarantee you, he changed the way the Caucasian dealt with them slaves.
Oh, yeah.
Down there,
Oh, yeah. Why you think that? First of all, they want to erase
Southampton. Yeah.
They want to erase the remembrance of where he come from. They changed the name of the place that he lived and got caught at from Jerusalem, Virginia, to Cortland, Virginia. So they could just forget about him because that was a heavy happening.
Right.
It was a heavy happening.
Right. You know the significance of religion and its influence on people's minds, and
rebellion. They know the significance of rebellion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know?
And just think, after he did what he did, can you imagine how uptight Caucasian slave owners was after that?
Oh, yeah. These niggas is rebelling. Oh, shucks. Just like when they found out we was getting educated from reading the Bible. Mm-hmm. Oh, shucks.
That's what they told. They
like George Washington said, supposedly, don't let them get Islam. Don't let them read that Quran because it'll free them.
Right. And they passed laws against it, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, whereas a white person could be punished for teaching
oh yeah. And right now today, they wasted the government men, certain agencies, wasting their money watching certain people like myself. I done made it clear. I was trained by you, I was raised by you, you know, I was fed by you, you know, and I served the nation. I served the nation in various capacities, in the military and paramilitary. I served the nation, and I love this nation. Why are you wasting your money trying to, you know, follow me? Why are you wasting your money? Everything I say, I put it out here on the internet. Everything I believe, I write it down. Everything. Because I'm the messenger of the Lord. I'm not the messenger of my own ideals. I'm the messenger of the Lord El. I ain't talking about destroying the nation. I'm no fool. I can't destroy the police department in this city. You know. And they wasting their money and time and energy. But they know that my mouth is a threat. They know that my mind is a threat, and my heart is a threat, and my soul is a threat to what they stand for. So they want to get rid of the threat, so they just waiting and hoping that some kind of mishap happened that they could use against me to annihilate the threat.
Yes.
You know, they wish I would pick up guns. They wish I would try to get in connection with people who develop bombs. They wish I would get the thought of physical and material rebellion.
They could only wish that they might catch a shoplifting act or something, anything.
No, it's more. Anything. They want more than that. They want to be able to obliterate me. You know what I'm saying? But and it is a shame
but
because I'm coming to the people with the compassion and the mercy of the Lord, with the reconciliation, with the forgiveness, to tell them, listen to this message. Help me get this message out. Read this message, because it's a great message, so that you can be saved. You said that you was looking for the Christ to come back. The devil told you it was Jesus Christ. Jesus' name was never Christ. The Christ is the crusher. The Christ is Allaah, the light of truth, the power of life, the power of purity, the purifier, and the power of heaven and the power of hell. The purifier of the enlightener and the enlightening being of the heavens and the hells. That's the Christ. And it has returned. It has come down. It has opened itself up to, or opened me up to it. Its presence. Made me aware of its presence. Commune with me all the time. Stay in union with me. And relate what it want me to relate to the people. But the people believe in their devils. They're seduced by their devils, like our first fathers and mothers in Adam and Eve in the garden, in this Garden of Eden.
But you were saying being seduced, they've been comforted, and then being in these comfort zones. That's the trial of a messenger. When Ahezaah sends this true word, that's the trial of the people, that now they got to come out of those comfort zones.
That's part of the seduction. That's part of seduction. You know, I was talking to one of my sons the other day, and I was telling him, I said, you know, people look for the devil, look for the horns, you know, look for the dungeons, look for all the ugliness and the horror. They looking for that devil. When that devil comes to them as a beautiful being, a beautiful woman, spotless, speaking sweet tones and what have you, and taking them out. The devil is the one that turns you to look for the beast, the one with the horns, the fire, the ugliness, the darkness. He wants you to look there thinking that you gonna find him in there, when he's sitting out in the light, right next to you, all beautiful, leading you, telling you, find that devil, and he is the devil. They're the devil. Every man has a devil. Every woman has a devil. Every human being has a devil. Part of our makeup is the devil. We're part animal and we're part angel. We're part animal and where we are of the meat of the earth. We are of the animal being of the earth. We eat of this earth. And we are part angel, the fallen and the rise. That's where the negative and the positive come into play in our mind and our spirit and our soul. That's what we are as human beings. And they say we gotta go.
Do we have to go?
Yes.
Yeah. Holy Queen Mother, we have to go, and we appreciate you being on set. And to you and our television audience, we'll bid adieu and say that Ahezaah's peace and other blessings be within and about your presence. Please return to us again for an A.H.A.D moment, this calm before the storm. Yes. Thank you, Lord Holy-Apostle.
Yes, Brother Free. So I now this picks up of names and start your brother and much prayers.
Who of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed?